President al-Assad issues decree number 26 for the year 2015 regulating the work of the general establishment of housing. The Syrian army destroys terrorist dens near Deir ez-Zor airport, targets al-Nusra terrorists in Qunaytira and Daraa. And Lavrov stresses that all efforts must be mobilized in order to fight ISIS, which represents a threat to security and stability in the Middle East. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian television in Damascus. President Bashar al-Assad issued legislative decree number 26 for the year 2015 regulating the work of the general establishment for housing and ending the work in legislative decree number 76 for 2011. The establishment is basically tasked with covering the housing and construction needs in the country. The decree regulates the tasks of the establishment in terms of preparing 5-year housing plans, meeting social housing needs, and setting and implementing housing programs for low-income citizens according to the state's planned project. The establishment supports the efforts of the administrative units to provide alternative housing places when destroying houses built illegally or randomly. It also tackles the issue of implementing the establishment of suburbs and construction projects and conducting related housing studies and researches. In our field developments and in the western countryside of Qunaytira province, an army unit targeted groups of Israeli-backed terrorist organization in al-Hamidiyya village, leaving many of them dead and their weapons destroyed. An army unit destroyed dens of ISIS in the area surrounding Deir ez-Zor military airport and Ajbaili and As-Sina'a neighborhoods, killing many terrorists and injuring others. While in Daraa, the army targeted terrorist positions on the southern outskirts of Kafr Shams village in the northwestern countryside of the province. Many terrorists were killed and 2 mortars and various types of vehicles were destroyed. More terrorists were killed in a special operation against their hideouts positioned on the northern hill overlooking Zimrin village in the northwestern countryside. An army unit carried out an operation against Jabhat al-Nusra gathering in an Nazihin camp and other areas in the neighborhood of Daraa al-Balad in Daraa city, killing and injuring a number of terrorists. Armenians evacuated their positions in Ariha city in the countryside of Idlib to the north of the country and withdrew to defensive lines on the outskirts of the city after fierce clashes with large numbers of Jabhat al-Nusra terrorists. The units earlier destroyed a number of mortar launchers for the terrorists during the confrontations in Ariha city. Syria's Permanent Representative at the United Nations, Dr. Bashar al-Jafari, stressed that the humanitarian crisis in Syria cannot be solved without dealing with the root causes of the problem, namely the emergence of terrorism, supported by some regional and international powers, in addition to supporting a national dialogue among the Syrians themselves without any foreign intervention. During a session by the United Nations Security Council on the situation in the Middle East, al-Jafari stressed that despite adopting humanitarian plans with the cooperation of the Syrian government, yet all the measures to end the humanitarian crisis failed because of the spread of terrorism, as is the situation in Palmyra, Idlib, and today in Ariha, with hundreds of families fleeing their homes following vicious attacks by these terrorist organizations, calling for implementing the United Nations Security Council resolution on the necessity of combating terrorism. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov stressed that the Middle East problems must be solved through a comprehensive national dialogue, pointing out that ISIS represents a threat to security and stability in the region and the whole world. During a press conference in Moscow, Lavrov stressed that his country is working hard to solve all the crises in the region, including the Syrian one, on the principles of allowing the people of these countries to determine their own future through launching a comprehensive national dialogue, pointing out that the American-Russian stands have become closer in terms of adopting a political solution to the crisis in Syria on the basis of the Geneva Statement of June 2012, adding that Russia does not support the U.S. efforts to arm the Syrian opposition because such an approach can only serve the terrorists. Iraqi troops restored control on the area between Al-Shiha Bridge and Nazim Taqsim in Al-Anbar province after eliminating dozens of terrorists. The spokesperson for the Iraqi Army Command in Baghdad said that the Iraqi Army, supported by air power, was able to maintain control on several areas, destroying ISIS dens north of Al-Karma, pointing out that dozens of terrorists were killed and 13 vehicles were destroyed, in addition to 155 explosive devices. Meanwhile, 30 people killed and wounded following 2 explosions near 2 hotels in the capital, Baghdad. A Russian aircraft carrying 23 tons of humanitarian and relief supplies offered by the Russian people and government to the Syrian people arrived today in al-Assad International Airport in Latakia. Latakia Governor Ibrahim Khudr As-Salim, for his part, thanked Russia on behalf of the Syrian government and the Syrian people for the assistance it provides. For his part, representative of the Russian Emergency Situation Ministry, Alexander Tomashov, said Russia will continue sending aid to the Syrian people upon the directions of Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying this affirms Russia's continuous support for Syria and its legitimate government. With this, we come to the end of our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Thank you for watching.